Warning. This program contains strong language, auditory violence, and mental nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. With your hosts, Berzerker and Navox. This is Unshackled Fury.
It's not a trick or treat, and it's not an April Fool. This week, we have one of the biggest shows ever in the history of this podcast. So welcome to episode 60 of Unshackled Fury, your uncensored home for all things Warcraft. I'm your host, Berzerker. I've got my Yeti at the ready, and with me, as always, is the run to my DMC. He is Navox. Welcome back again, sir.
Dude, it's our diamond anniversary episode. Oh, wait. That's years, not episodes.
It feels like years.
But it's episode 60. I mean, 60 is a great number.
Yeah.
It's like a composite number with the most divisors.
We've
any composite number.
We've made it.
It's the maximum number of marbles in Chinese checkers.
It's also 9 away from the magic number.
It's the highest obtainable level in World of Warcraft Classic.
And maybe once again in a future expansion.
And Gone in 60 Seconds is a movie with Nicolas Cage.
Anything with Nick Cage.
Anyway, that's enough of episode 60. Woohoo! Episode 6.
Yes, we made it at last, and we have a lot. We have a lot going on this week, and you know, as big and broad as our shoulders are, I knew that we needed to bring in somebody to help be the third leg on this stool, and that is a poop joke. So this week, to help us capture everything we have to announce and discuss, we have the legendary one-man gnomish band himself, Mr. Frazley. Welcome to the house that Rage built, my friend.
Oh, thank you. It's so excited to hear it. I'm ready to rage and be excited.
Oh, man. It's like watching a cherry bomb go off.
Yes. I'm a cherry bomb.
I love it. So, welcome to the show. And you have been a friend of the show for some time. You've had us on, both Nav and I, but we have yet to reciprocate the favor, and we're damn glad to finally have you on this show and help spread your joy and cheer and your boundless energy, because God knows us, a couple of mopes could probably use some injection of that.
If he could bottle it.
Oh, my God.
Honest to God, if he could bottle it.
You could quit this podcasting gig overnight.
I know. I could sell so much. Well, actually, in my merch store now, I've got my energy. No, I have socks and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're running out of Red Wolf, so we need something else. But for the folks that perhaps don't know who you are, which you have a much broader range, reach, I should say, than we do, so hopefully people know you. But for people who don't know who you are, tell the folks about yourself, about your shows, all the stuff you got going on.
So I am a person who just loves podcasting, loves talking with people, and I've been podcasting since 2017 in the World of Warcraft, doing a lot of different things. I run a community-focused podcast called Frazley, where I every week want to learn more about somebody. So it's not about me, it's about the person that's in that other seat, and I get to meet so many people. I mean, it's one of the joys. About a year ago, I talked with both of you, not in the same room, which was an interesting experiment.
It's better that way.
Yeah. Oh no! One day I'll have both of you back on. It just we keep trying and all that, but hey, time zones and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, I love games, love connecting with people, and part of my thing is if I can make somebody laugh. Well, I don't want to say cry, but if I make people have emotion on podcasts,
there you go.
Then I'm doing something right.
There you go. And I know just from kind of seeing, you know, through all social media and everything else, you do not just like one show. You're putting stuff out all the time. It's like, here's Frazley's thought on this, and ask me a question over here, and here's the Frazzlecast, and I'm doing this thing over here. Man, you are everywhere.
Yeah, it started with one, and then I was like, oh, but you know, I want to then do a short news report. then I was like, oh, okay, I want to do an inspirational podcast. And then somebody was like, hey, what if we send you questions? So I did Dear Frazley. So I'm just kind of making ideas as I go, seeing what sticks, seeing what I have fun with, morphing them. I find that the more I do, the better I get at all of them, which sounds weird because it seems like the more you do, the more thin you would be. But I get better at my workflow each time I work on different things.
Practice makes habit, man. Yeah, absolutely.
And before you even got into all of this, you must have had some sort of spark of, I think I could do this, or I want to do this. Where did that come? Like, what got you into this in the first place?
So years ago in 2005, wow, I can't believe it's been that long. They had the Screensavers had a 30-second horror film contest. So what do? I take a Logitech webcam, put it for my cat. Hi, I am Tab. I am a killer cat.
Oh, man.
I sent another victim. So I have Kevin Rose, the other Kevin, I forget his name, and Sarah Lane just like laughing and responding. Just like, you know what? I think I could do this.
Do you have that recorded?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I want to see that, because I used to watch, I loved the Screensavers on, it was G4. We finally got G4. I didn't have the, it was a different channel at some point, but they eventually changed it all into G4, but I enjoyed the Screensavers. So I understand exactly, I'd love to see that.
Oh, I will send it over to you because it's, you're one of the first people that actually remembers the Screensavers and stuff like that. But yeah, when I saw that and I saw the reaction, I was like, you know what? I can do this. So later on, I took some stuffed animals, put them in front of a thing, did the Mr. Fluffles show. I am Mr. Fluffles. And it was like a variety show with stuffed animals. I mean, I did this for about a couple of years. 2008, 2009 was when YouTube was getting popular. I never became popular on YouTube, but I got into the PodCamp community. And there, I always wanted to start a podcast. I went to different podcast conferences, never had content.
Wow.
And it was like 2017, I get into Convert to Raid. I see there's this podcast help channel. I'm like, you know what? I can finally do it. I just get a couple of friends together. We start podcasting, and the rest is history. So, Pat Crane, you unleashed the beast!
Oh, Daddy Pat. He's responsible for so much. Oh, one day he'll pay for his crimes.
Yes. Hey, as he said on the episode that I had him on, he said, let your freak flag fly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Listen, I mean, you know what this show's all about. There's no holding back. So we're glad to have you here. Glad you're part of the community and that you made the dive in, man. Because
oh, hell yeah,
we definitely need more of your kind of people around us and in this community. So, all right. Well, since you're here, why don't we jump into a little collective rage?
Yeah, let's rage. Oh, I just sprained an ankle. Sorry.
Let's rage.
So we're going to jump in a little bit, and we're going to talk about the 8.2.5 cinematic that we'd all been waiting for, hoping to get some answers as to how we wrap up the work campaign, what comes next, all that jazz. We're going to get into that. And if you haven't watched it by now, go watch it real quick, because a lot of our conversation today is going to be dependent on your knowledge of said thing. So go out there and watch it for 6 minutes. Trust me, it's a good 6 minutes of your life spent.
Yes.
One of the things coming out of this, though, is the fact that at the end, no, we don't get a definitive end to Sylvanas. She's not killed. She's not locked up. She's not anything. She just disappears in a puff of smoke and flies up in the sky. Now, there's some other stuff going on in a cinematic if you were the loyalist that decided to back her, and she gives you some more little information. But the main thing coming out of this is I saw, I don't know how many people bitching and moaning and complaining on end about how Blizzard just gave up, that this was not the real ending, that this is not who Sylvanas is, that this is just a whole bunch of hogwash. And I can't for the life of me understand how people did not see this coming. Sylvanas has always been bad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, did you not read the book? There was a book before the storm that talked about this. I mean, Sylvanas loves to do all of this stuff like this. I mean, she burned a tree for God's sake.
Yep. Yeah, she burned a tree. She nuked her own people at the Wrathgate. Wanted to assassinate her own sisters in the comic Windrunner, the Three Sisters. Struck a bargain with Queen Ashara. And said and remarked that the armies of Azeroth will fight her master. Oh, yeah, she's gone down, this whole bad road. So for people to go, I'm so surprised that this character is taking this turn. I'm like, she's laid all of her cards out on the table. There's nothing,
And she did burn 3 puppies. Wait, sorry. That was a Facebook post. There's no proof on that.
Oh.
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
But it's to borrow sort of the NFL, the dearly departed NFL coach Denny Green's famous phrase, she is who we thought she was. And
Yes.
especially, and great point about bringing up Before the Storm, because it's one of those things where in reading that book, you get a lot of the context for why she does what she does in the in-game cinematic that you get after the fact if you were one of the loyalists, where she talks about how essentially she's giving up on the undead when it seemed like that was the anchor that kept her there, was, not necessarily her love for her people, but it was an understanding of what they had gone through, what they had suffered, all that stuff, and that she was using her Valkyrie to raise them all, and there was some camaraderie there. But as you went through that novel, you saw this reconciliation between undead and live humans and other people, and you saw that, to her point, they still had hope that there was a way forward, and that's where that disconnect happens. So you kind of have to have a little more context, I think, to get there, but, I mean, all told, with everything that we've seen and read and everything else, this makes a lot of sense. So all of the consternation and bitching and moaning and complaining and slandering on Blizzard and everybody else, I sorry guys, you're not right on this one. Not right. So, all right, we're not going to belabor that too long. We're going to swipe those people aside because, listen, we got tons of news, lots of stuff to announce and talk about. So thanks for raging with us there, Frazley. I like to see you getting pumped up, and we got plenty more to go. So let's jump into our news. Hello, everyone. Berzerker and Navox here. Jumping in as we'll talk about a whole bunch of things on this episode. However, during the course and scope of editing this episode, Blizzard decided, hey, this is a great time to drop 8.3 info on everyone and everything. So we're just going to jump in here real quick, Nav and I, to drop a few thoughts. We are going to go more in depth on all of the news that got dropped today in our next episode, in which we'll be bringing in Jin from the Morally Gray podcast to join us for that discussion. But real quick, yes, we're going to theorize a bunch in this episode. We're probably going to be talking out of our ass to some degree. But you know what, Nav? We were not all wrong.
No,
we were not all wrong. So you're gonna hear some things that are immediately debunked, and well, that's just how it goes sometimes. But we got a whole bunch of information today. Let's hit some highlights for the folks. Nav, what jumps right out at you?
Really jumped right out at me at the start was that we're actually going to be able to fight an old god in our non-old god expansion.
Yeah.
What?
So that's why they're calling this patch Visions of N'Zoth.
What? We're finally getting to see N'Zoth in our non-old god expansion. Yeah, but honestly, I mean, I can't, like, when Ian opened up, it was like, okay, so he's got Classic in front of him. And I was like, oh, I don't really care about that. And then he just boom, just unloaded and vomited all of this stuff on us. Yeah. And it was just, I was really taken back and amazed. I mean, we're getting 2 new allied races, the Volpera and the Mechanomes. That's really cool.
Yep.
The like you mentioned, the raid, the Nyalotha raid we're gonna get there, the assaults that are going to take place in. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself because we talked about it at the top of the show. The Veil of Eternal Blossoms finally got rebuilt. Something I've been talking about on our show for a while that I'm like, man, it would be really nice if they rebuilt the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. And now they finally did, which is awesome. But then it's going to have the, we're going to just go at Stranger Things here, the upside down version of it when their assaults happen, that you get to go there and fight and clean the area up, and when the assault's over, you get to go back to the pristine cleanliness of the area and all being nice. So it's a lot of stuff headed our way, especially also they mentioned the more of the dragon aspect stuff. So Wrathion and it's going to be really cool. I can't wait. So
yeah, later in this episode, you folks will hear sort of our various theories about what's to come, and it's not totally debunked thanks to what happened today. But yes, 8.3 is going to be a very big patch. We are going to finally see Ny'alotha, what Ny'alotha is, what it represents. Now that N'Zoth is fully unchained, there's no question about it now. He's unleashed upon Azeroth and wreaking havoc and breaking through, and it's kind of it's like a real quantum physical thing going on here where you're piercing the veil from one reality to the next to get these assaults and various things, and N'Zoth is essentially trying to unleash his vision upon the planet, and it's all very dire and crazy. And yeah, we're gonna venture into Ny'alotha. There's gonna be a 12 boss raid in there, so we're gonna be in there for a long time. That's going to bring us some new Heart of Azeroth levels. There'll be some new Essence slots. Like you mentioned, Volpera and Mechanomes are coming. I heard that they are redesigning the auction house, which all of the gold folks out there, good luck with that. I hope that helps you in all of your endeavors. But the one thing that I took quick notice of that I was wondering if it was finally going to happen, we are actually going to have a legendary in this expansion. And this was something that folks have been debating about and wondering, hey, are we going to have one? Are we not going to have one? Well, we are now going to have what is essentially going to be the successor to the Mage Tower challenges that we had in Legion, with a sort of a 1-to-5 scenario, 1-to-5 player scenario that they're going to have. And they're calling these Horrific Visions, where in Orgrimmar and Stormwind, we're going to go in, we're going to try to do a little battle. We're going to be overcome with, N'Zoth's power to take over our mind. We won't get very far, but we're going to learn something or get some gear or something. And then we come out, and then we go the next time. And then we learn a little bit more. And somehow over the course of this, as we work with Wrathion, we're going to be getting this new cloak, which is going to have its own abilities and its own ways of helping us. And apparently it's going to come into play specifically in the battle against N'Zoth at the very end. So that will be something. I have to say, I did not really think of Wrathion as the master tailor, but cloaks are his thing, I guess.
Cloaks are his thing.
Hey, fine. However you guys want to work that. That's great. But yes, we did get a whole big info dump today. There is an 18-minute video, I believe, that they put out, and it's Ian standing there telling his very dry jokes and giving us all the info. So it's everything we've come to know and love about this. But, and one more thing. Goblin and Worgen finally get their heritage armor, as we discussed previously. And yes, you will be able to wear a top hat and walk around with that as a werewolf in World of Warcraft. So if that's always been your dream, you finally get to live it. So good for you. There's a whole bunch of other information out there already. God knows and I know that it'll just keep on flowing. But again, we're going to save that all for the next episode. So anything else before we jump back into the program, Nav?
Titan Forging is going away. It's going to be reworked. That was pretty cool.
Ooh.
But yeah, we'll talk about all that in the next episode. Thanks for dropping all that stuff on us today, Ian. That was very, very kind of you after we recorded our show and you didn't get back with us. So
yes, we do have a nice long program for you today, and we hope you guys enjoy our discussion along with Frazley, and we go
whose head has exploded at this point. I know, I know his Mechanome is just like boom. Mine exploded.
Yeah, there's probably pieces of him everywhere, so we'll have to go help him collect. But for now, hope you guys enjoy the rest of this episode and everything we have for you. So now, back to your regularly scheduled program. We're going to talk about the end of the war campaign, but first, we have some breaking news. My God, this show never gets to break any news. But for the first time, we're going to break some news. As you all know, as we said last time, we are heading into the season of BlizzCon. BlizzCon is technically not at the end of this month, but right at the end of this month, the 1st and the 2nd of November. And in the lead up to this, there is the Con Before the Storm. This is an event that we have talked about several times on this show. And last year, this show was fortunate enough to get invited on one of their streams prior to the convention. Well, guess what? For some reason, we got invited back. And I don't know why. I don't know what we did. I thought we made ourselves known, but apparently it was all right. So we have been invited back. The Unshackled Fury podcast has been invited back to be on the pod before the con, the Warcraft stream that will be held before the convention for those of us that can't make it, where we're going to be doing the stream. And on top of that, not only are we going to be on the show, but the panel that we are going to be on is going to be moderated by none other than our guest today, Mr. Frazley. Congratulations, sir.
Oh, thank you. And that's actually news. I was sitting at lunch today eating my pumpkin pancakes, and I get the news from Ro. And I'm like,
You would.
it was just, oh, they were so good. And I had some ham and eggs with it. Yeah. This is breaking news to me, and I have to say thank you, Ro. And when I heard this, I was like, I've been training for this for 127 episodes. I've been training for this. And as I told Ro, you will see a little bit less of my input on that because the panelists are the ones that want the input. But I realized, wow, my first time moderating. So I'm like humbled, nervous, excited. I've already got a lot of the questions all ready to go. So I'm like, I'm giddy.
Do you have somebody whose style you think you're going to take after? Are you more of a Maury or a Jerry Springer or an Oprah? Like, who's your guiding light?
Well, I mean, hey, Berzerker, who's the father? No, I
am not the father. I'll do a dance you ain't never seen before. And we'll never want to see again.
I'm going to be me, just kind of like, but with less of my input that I give guests on the show, because with how many people are on there, there won't be time for anything else. You know who I'll be like, because they did a pretty good job during the presidential elections. I'm going to be like, well, not the recent ones, but there were some earlier ones, I think, between Bush and stuff like that. Some of the CNN people did a good job. So, like, where they just ask the questions, they don't give any input back, but they just let people ask their question and be them. So I'm going to be that. But if somebody comes up like a Trump, I might have to move people around. Oh, there is one debate. Oh, no, I don't even want to rage about that because there was one debate, like, even the moderators weren't being good.
It's a tough job.
Anyway.
It's a tough job. You essentially have to be the ringleader of a big circus.
Yeah.
And you know I have a big personality, so I'm going to be just rambling all over the place like a wild elephant. And there'll be other people there too. And you got to be the man in charge, the man with the top hat and the whip going, get back in the cage.
Yeah. You sit down now,
See?
Or I will turn this podcast around.
I will mute your ass.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be beautiful. And it's exciting, man. I'm glad that you're going to be the person in charge of that whole thing, and we'll see how that goes, of course. And there's a whole bunch of detail left to come out about it. So here's the deal. I'm going to be representing the show, so Unshackled Fury will be there. You'll be there, Frazley, moderating the panel. As for the rest of the details, the who, the what, the when, all that jazz, you want to go out there, go to your Twitter, and follow @ConBeforeStorm. That's where all the details are going to be at. Since they are partnering with Wowhead, you're also going to be seeing that promoted there. And I don't know anybody who plays Warcraft at this point who doesn't follow Wowhead if you're on social media. So,
oh, you just made me realize that, oh, wow, this panel's going to be on Wildhead's front page.
It could be. Nothing like exposure, my friend. Now you really have to do a good job.
Yeah, wow.
I mean, it's possible. They're partnered up, so I mean, we'll have to see. But that's essentially where you're going to want to find all that information. And as far as I can tell, it's going to be coming out pretty soon. So we're certainly honored once again to be brought into this. Again, it's a total surprise that people are willing to let us go on these shows that are going to be public. But there you go. You're the one that did it, not me. So I did volunteer. One other piece of news that we have that we want to announce today, and we have even more beyond this, is hopefully by the time that you have downloaded this episode, you will see that we have new art. And I don't know why it is that we do this around BlizzCon time. I think I just like having new stuff around BlizzCon because, I don't know, it just seems like a good time to do it. But Nav and I have been working with a very talented artist who is part of the CTR community. Some of you may know her as Copper or Copperbolt. You can follow her on Twitter at @SS_copper. That's SS for Salad Senate, had nothing to do with Nazis. Don't lose your shit or be weird. She has done a phenomenal job of working with us and being patient with all of our little bits and changes and different things. But what do you think about what we got, Nav, man? Because I'm pumped about having all this.
It's really, really quite amazing, Copper. You did an absolutely amazing job. I really can't wait to have you on the show to discuss how you went through the process with this. The fact that that you did it freehand is absolutely amazing. It just looks so good.
Yeah.
I wish we had been recording when you showed me the reaction, because like my jaw dropped. I mean, I had to crank it back up into my mouth because it was just amazing. Wow.
Yeah, that was a true reaction. I probably should have kept the camera rolling or have the sound rolling at that point. But yeah, we're very excited. You should be seeing that on all of our social media: SoundCloud, iTunes, or Apple Podcasts, Twitter, all that stuff. It should be up there. So if you are a show, or if you're doing some other media and you need art, whether it's art or whether it's like vector art like we did, and I'm learning some of these terms, reach out to Copper at SS_copper. If there's other channels that she wants to be contacted at, I'm sure she'll say something out there. Phenomenal job, and she gets you a good rate. You're gonna have to pay some money, because you should pay your artists.
Oh, absolutely, because of how much mileage you get out of it and how much use you get out of it.
It's unbelievable. And here's the thing for us too, is that she knows us, she knows our aesthetic, and she's a Warcraft player. We've been raid team members forever. I've met her personally. She's a lovely, beautiful woman who just happened to take pity on us poor warriors and say, you know what, I will lend my artistic skill to you. And here we are. So Copper, thank you. And anyone that's looking for any kind of work, please reach out to her. She couldn't be easier to work with, has a wonderful eye. So give her your business, folks. She's good people. So, all of those announcements out of the way, and we do have more to come. Let's go ahead and talk about Warcraft itself, the actual game that we play. And the big news, as of late, the end of the war campaign. I think it came a lot sooner than most of us expected. I think we were looking for something that was long and drawn out and gated and all that. Hell no, we got this thing right out of the gates. And before we knew it, you were in Orgrimmar, you were doing the battle, you were seeing cinematics, and off we go. Nav, what did you see? What did you think about all this?
I actually went back and watched the Warcraft went back and redid the entire cinematic storyline in a 24-minute format. I don't know if you haven't seen it, just go to YouTube, go to World of Warcraft. They cut all of them together. It's actually quite amazing to watch it from start to finish, and I can't believe this has been already a year. Like, we've already transpired an entire year of this game. As far as the final cinematic with Seraphang, I kind of expected this is where it was going to go. I'll say that I wasn't. I always knew Sylvanas had these new weird powers to her, and it's progressed. I think she's had these powers long before Battle for Azeroth. I think she's had them. I think she's had them even through earlier expansions, and it's just now we're coming to see that she's ready to blossom into what she's really trying to do here. I was sad to see Seraphang go out the way he did. Ooh. But he was able to unify the Horde once again, and it was sad, because I'm not a big Horde fan by any means, but through all the cinematic events that transpired, I was growing more fond of that character, and I would have liked to have seen more of him. And now I go back and do like Ice Crown Citadel and stuff like that, and I can see his NPC and things like that in the storyline, and you just see that story, and it's got an ending now, so it was bittersweet, I guess. But watching the fight, watching him take up an axe, his horde axe, and the alliance sword, Charlemagne, and definitely wounded Sylvanas. I hope that scar doesn't heal. I hope the scar stays there. Like a Harry Potter lightning ball. I hope she keeps that scar over her eye there.
Yeah.
But everybody says awesome job, bang up job. I love these cinematics. I really do. I really do love these cinematics. And that was, by the way, that was a no mocap cinematic. So that was all done by hand, like within the software. Like whatever they're using to do that was all done by hand. I learned that later when I was doing I was tweeting back and forth with one of the cinematics people from Blizzard, and I didn't realize that it was no mocap. I was like, wow, that is simply amazing. But yeah, like I said, bittersweet to see Saurfang go out like that. Nice to see that the Horde reunification has happened and Sylvanas has, poofed up like a fart in the wind, and we'll see her again later on. For those of you who don't know and who don't really care or have not gone through the Horde storyline, because I haven't. I had to go out on YouTube and see all this stuff. Eventually, like if you were a Horde loyalist, we'll talk about that later on. That's fine. Let's stick to the cinematic. So that's how I felt about the cinematics. I mean, I loved it.
How about you, Fraz?
I am so glad that I used the add-on Dual Response by Geodesic Dragon, because, wow, I with this, Sylvanas put out a dual request to Saurfang, and just like how I would have happened, I would have gone down like Saurfang did.
Yeah, they're definitely lining up more Fury Warrior bodies on the pyre, because we don't fare too well when it comes to these kinds of things. Varian's gone. He's gone. Like, it's just...
Well, I'm arms.
Your arms. Oh, I gotcha. Yeah.
Well, that's probably the better way to go, because once you start dual wielding, you're screwed.
I mean, and Saurfang is mostly dead. And there's a big difference between mostly dead and all dead. Mostly dead is slightly alive. With all dead, with all dead, there's only one thing you can do is go through his clothes and look for loose change. So, I mean,
this is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's... To your point, the technical end of this is always amazing to watch. I mean, Blizzard's been the gold standard, I think, as far as many of us have been concerned, for many, many years. And they do a phenomenal job. And yeah, the facial expressions and the individual that you were talking about on Twitter was a gentleman by the name of Chris McCormick, Flat Tangent.
Yes.
Flat Tangent.
Thank you.
And he tweeted out a couple of things and talked about how he's shown some of his shots that he'd worked on. And
yeah,
I think in particular, and this is what I tweeted at him, was the facial expression of Sylvanas when she says, I trusted you, and she kind of squinches up her face just a little bit. It's that little bit of extra life that you're like, whoa, shit,
yes,
like, that's so good. Like, it feels so real, and it's not, but man, I'm in it, I'm with it. But yeah, it's that was a hell of a gamble for them to play with Saurfang, where essentially he knows he's gonna die. Like, there's no way he's gonna win this fight. He knows something's rigged. This is a rigged deal. He's not gonna make it out alive, but he's gonna go in there. He's gonna try to force the confrontation. He's going to try to get her to get that mask to slip. I mean, there can't really be any other goal, because him dying alone, I don't think does enough. But getting her to say something, to do something, to show that she's not really true to the cause. And I tell you, as a True Blue Alliance member, I have to say there is some small sense of satisfaction now when in the intro cinematic you had everybody flipping their shit when it was for the Horde, and she yelled it and everybody's like, yeah, for the Horde, we're so bad. And then now she totally just pissed over all of that, and I'm like, come get some. I have not seen a reaction video from certain people I was hoping to see a reaction video by now from, because, man, they were real happy then. They're probably not that happy now. But yes, we've seen it. The Alliance, the Horde, it seems like they're getting along now, or at least the vast majority of them are. There are splinter factions, it would seem. You've got Night Elves that aren't happy. You've got Sylvanas loyalists who aren't happy. Those threads, they're out there. And Blizzard's not one to just let them go. They'll sit out there for a while. But at this point, where does Sylvanas go? That I think is a big question for a lot of people, is What is her true intention here? Is she trying to become an old god? Is she trying to capture an old god? Is she just trying to escape death? Is she just making shit up? I.e., is Blizzard just making shit up? Like I know I've seen out on the forums. Where do you think she goes from here, Fraz?
It's kind of interesting because she forsook the Forsaken. So she forsook the people that she claimed to care about.
Yeah.
And she said they're nothing. I mean, it was one of those, she was holding a mask, but she let it go. I think, looking at some of the cinematics, I'm wondering if she sees the power in N'Zoth, or I wonder if she wants the power that Azara got from N'Zoth. Maybe she's trying to take down Azara, or I can even see one where she works with Azara, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, Azara, ha ha ha, stab, stab, stab. Okay, I get the power now. I mean, there's a power play, or there's something that she's wanting, that because there's the same change in that cinematic was what we saw in the tree. Something snapped in her mind that made her do this, and I'm still trying to figure that part out, because I mean she's lost everything. Would you say that the same way that we look at a authority leader in our countries has one of the biggest roles of power, that a faction leader is one of the biggest roles, and she gave that up? I mean, she has no authoritative power anymore, and that's an interesting play of her hand.
And I guess the question, to your point, is can she be somebody's servant? Because that doesn't seem like her personality type. She has to be free of all of that. And I always go back to, and I've said this many times on the show, is if you have not read the short story that Dave Cossack wrote about Sylvanas, Edge of Night, I think it's called. And this goes back Cataclysm era, I think, when they wrote this, or Pandaria, when they wrote this. It gives a lot of insight into how she operates nowadays, which is she was just in the depths of despair, following Icecrown Citadel, saw that there was a new Lich King, threw herself off the top, shattered her body, was actually dead, like dead. Went into the void, saw Arthas' spirit essentially being torn apart for eternity, found the Valkyrie found her, pulled her out, she's now bound to them, that's how she's still alive, she's only got, one left. Is she trying to make a deal to beat death? Is she trying to make a deal to be death? Is she trying to find some other way out? Like that's I guess what I keep wrestling with is, would she make a bargain to beat death to be the servant? Or would she try to find a way to manipulate her way into being death itself and being unconquerable?
I could see that. Having the power to take people and take their death. I mean, and never die, because who beats death?
What about you, Nev?
She's trying to escape her eternal damnation. If she dies, that she's so, like you just mentioned, her fate is tied to Arthas' fate. So, your soul's going to be ripped apart forever and ever and ever if she perishes. That is what happens. That's what happens to her. So, we saw a little bit in Legion where she was working. She was working on a different out in Legion by making a deal with Hela, and she had, I forget what it was called, but she had this lantern, and we all saw it in the cutscene. She had a lantern. She was trying to imprison one of the Valkyrs, because the Valkyrs can be used to make other Valkyrs, and you can't actually, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there are only a finite amount of Valkyrs at this point. The Lich King's the one that can make the Valkyrs. There's only a finite amount of Valkyr at this point. We actually killed one of them at Darkshore. Right. And so her thing is, she's off to trick. She's always scheming. So she's off to trick whoever she's going to make deals with. Yeah. She's making deals with N'Zoth. She's making deals with Ashara. And I think even it was Patty Madison even said out on Twitter that she is always calculating. So, she was using the Horde and creating her own fog of war within the war, because it kind of ties together with the there was the Tom Clancy novel where you get both sides to the sum of all fears, where you get both sides. You know, the two main.
No, I don't
you get
read.
Russia and United States. Okay, well, okay. The premise of the story is, you know, if you want to attack the USA and if you want to attack Russia, you don't attack them head on. You get, you know, the United States and Russia to fight each other, and then, you know, and then you go about. So basically, what she did was she got the Alliance and the Horde to fight each other, and within that, she had torn a rift. There is a rift within the Alliance. You have it with the Night Elves. You have it with the Night Elves and the Alliance because, you know, we don't have closure on Teldrassil, and you know, Tyrande didn't answer the call when Anduin said, "Hey, look, we're going to attack." Well, Tyrande did her own thing. She is now the Night Warrior. She's now dealing with her own thing, and we don't know that story's happening in the background. We don't know what's happening there. And then on the Horde side, the Horde was already torn apart, so now there's unification there. So now there's going to be a lot of healing on both sides, and we still don't know what's in store for us. You know, that's going to come in the next patch or even the next expansion. But, you know, it's not the last we've seen of Sylvanas, but she's, you know.
No.
And there are people literally losing their minds out there over a fiction. There are people losing their minds over Sylvanas being bad at this point, petitioning the devs and the voice actors to please not kill her off.
Yeah.
That's causing severe depression. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, this is what I did when they killed off Varian. I was like, no, how can you do this? This is my favorite guy. You can't kill him. And here I am still playing. So, you know,
yeah, right.
Take my money.
Now down the road, I don't know if we're going to see a Tyrande and Sylvanas showdown. I don't know how we actually don't know how powerful.
We have to. At this point,
we don't know how powerful Tyrande is at this point, but she is like, she's up there now.
Well, she's
scale of threats there.
Well, she's like, I don't know. I feel like they're kind of becoming two sides of the same coin, right? Where Tyrande is like empowered by the light, like the ultimate light, like Elune, like coming down into this vessel and is, you know, all of the power of that entity into one. And then you have Sylvanas, who's kind of becoming the, I don't know, the death entity. And so it's the dark and it's the dark energy and all that. They have to go head to head, man. Like that would be, I would be very dissatisfied if I didn't see them scrap at some point in like a full blown cinematic where the two of them are just unleashing their power and going apeshit. That'd be amazing. But so Sylvanas out there, out on the wind, doing something, scheming. But back at home, still have the Horde, still have the Alliance. Sounds like we're trying to kind of make amends. Happy to do that on one end. Some people not so happy on the other end. Fraz, where do you think the Horde goes from here? Do you think that they are able to go together as one cohesive unit? Do you think that they're still going to be the faction loyalists versus the Sylvanas loyalists that are going to have beef? And who do you think, if anyone, will be the new war chief?
I've kind of been thinking about that because we worked with Lorthamar over in Nashatar, and Bane was working with Anduin up until Sylvanas basically said, "You better stop doing that, or I'm going to basically kill you," or something. I mean, Sylvanas basically stopped the communication between Anduin and Bane. Mm-hmm. I could see Gallywix kind of working with anybody for if the money's well enough.
Yeah. Sweet dirtbag Gallywix.
Yeah, he would sell his mom if he could make enough money. So, I mean, I see the Horde kind of maybe working with the Alliance. I mean, at least coming together, because you see a lot of the Horde not happy with where things were going. Mm-hmm. And they weren't happy with how much war. I mean, there's almost a tiredness to how they've been feeling. And not to go too much into the next point, but I think Alliance, the Alliance is kind of feeling the same way. We're kind of tired of always fighting, and I've heard people call this the end of the Fourth War, and it would be kind of nice.
Right. Yeah.
Isn't Sylvanas even the one in the opening of Warcraft? Is this the drums of war echo once again?
I don't know if that's her. That might be the same voice actor, but I don't know that that's. I think it's just like a disembodied narrator of like, oh, shit's about to happen. Okay. Although that would be an amazing meta retcon.
Yeah,
that would be something.
Now, we all of a sudden, because I mean we brought Classic back. We turn around and Sylvanas is talking to these kids and be like, and that's how I ended the Fourth War.
Yeah, we do get the title, so it is definitely the end of the Fourth War. That's a full on legit thing, and I don't know, and to your point, I don't know how big of a conflict we can have immediately, like you're saying, where if you go back to the cinematic with, I think, is it Old Soldier? Is that the one? No, not Old Soldier. Which is,
Are you talking about Lost Honor with Gen?
Yes.
Where he mentions the last of the soldiers will be calling up farmers next?
exactly.
Yeah.
The population's been decimated. I mean, you've
Right.
got bodies dropping all over the place, and for now, none of them are going to become Forsaken, because now you have no way to raise them anymore, because that was Sylvanas' Valkyrie, or Valkyr, as far as I understand it. They needed her ability to make more Forsaken. Maybe Kalia steps in. Maybe that's the role that they have for her, is to come in and be, I don't even know if she wants to be a faction leader. I didn't get that sense from the little quest that we did at the end, but maybe that's where they end up, and she uses the light undead power.
Because, I mean, Sylvanas was the one who stopped the Forsaken from meeting up with the humans again. If it hadn't been for that, we actually could have seen some Forsaken. I mean, it would have. I don't think all the humans would be okay with Forsaken, because even in that quest we did in Stormsong as Alliance, you saw I don't know the right term, but the bigotry against the Forsaken, and they're like, oh, you're dead, stay away from me. But there are some, I think, that would be open to at least returning back. And if we can reproduce what they did with Kalia, or was it Kalia, or was it the other person? But somebody that they turned not like Forge.
No, it was Kalia. That's Kalia died she got hit by an arrow, and they were able to, with the light, they were able to bring her back as it's not Light Forge.
It's like a Lightborn undead.
Lightborn undead,
Something
right?
like that.
Yeah, something like that. Now that you just, you kind of, I just thought about something right here, is the fact that the Horde needs to go through a healing phase, recalling their armies, replenishing their ranks, and they're without a war chief. Now, they don't really need a war chief at this time. They just need somebody that can help lead and guide them on a healing process of getting there. And the same thing with the Alliance. The Alliance needs to rebuild their army. But with both sides weakened, this is kind of forcing both hands to work together, both sides to work together, actually. In maybe that's what we're going to see with an expansion, is that you'll see this melding somewhat of the Alliance and the Horde being able to work together to fight against whatever, to fight against Sylvanas' plan or something like that. But the other thing I was thinking about is there are a lot of people, both sides, Horde and Alliance, that have died. At this point, is it too late for them to be rezzed? Or not rezzed, but brought back as the same Lightforged or Lightborn, creation that Kalia is? So I don't know, but that could play into it, because on our character select screens now, in the latest update that we got, we now have faction icons next to our character. I rolled an Alliance warrior. I've always known my human warrior is Alliance. Why do I need to have an Alliance faction symbol next to my Alliance tune? I already know it's Alliance. Why do I need to have a Horde symbol there?
Because people could be new to the game and don't know the difference.
It's after the fact. You create it, and then it's your name, and there's a Alliance symbol there. Yeah. So I don't know.
There's only one race that needs it, and that's Mindarin.
It's true. Speaking of the Alliance, Nav, where does the Alliance go from here? Because here we have a battle-tested young king now. We have a pissed-off Night Elf faction. We've got, and Fraz, I don't know what your gnome people are doing. We've got dwarves out there somewhere in the hills. You've got, it seems like you don't have a lot of cohesion right now. You kind of got people out there doing their thing. Where do we go as the Alliance? Do we just try to kiss and make up? Do we try to spend what resources we have to fight Sylvanas? Is it too early to tell because we don't know where we're going? What do you think?
I actually do feel like it's too early to tell because we don't know where we're going. But I wanted to jump back on that, is the Lost Honor cinematic, because, like I said, Gen mentioned, we're all out of soldiers. Like, that's it. So they're going to have to train up some new soldiers. We're probably going to get a whole slew of new characters. The war has left a lot of ranks open. So I think the writers and the developers are going to have a field day creating new storylines, new characters, new fresh blood in the Warcraft story that will slowly get introduced. It'll be nice to see. Yeah, I mean, the Alliance is on a healing, the Alliance has to go on their little, they have to take a little retreat. They have to heal up a little bit, rebuild the armies, rebuild some of their vehicles. I'm trying to think of the name of them.
Armaments, something.
The armaments, exactly. Yeah, I know we're out a couple airships at this point, between Legion and Battle for Azeroth, and now we've also have there's a dialogue opened up between Jaina and the Nightborn. I forget what her name is. The Nightborn. I forget what it is. The
Larissa or
yeah.
Lyra or Lyra. I don't know. I'm terrible with names. What about you, Fraz?
So I had a thought. So you're asking like where the gnomes are?
Yeah.
All we got to do is just make it like the clone army in Star Wars. Just get a bunch of the leper gnomes, put them into suits, and like mind control them, and we have a new Alliance army. Just get, and then
you're talking about Mechagon. That's what you're talking about. That's what they're doing out there in Mechagon.
Well, I mean, take that technology from Mechagon then and bring it over to Nomergon, because I want to go back to Nomergon. See, I keep saying 9.0 is Rise of Nomergon.
Have you spent time in Mechagon at all? Do you realize what they're doing there? Like they're ripping limbs off, putting,
He doesn't care. This is what he wants.
Yeah. Sacrifices have to be made for the good of all.
Golly. Well, speaking of
creepy gnomes,
we do have a future here, right? This is what's happened. This is what is happening, but we are in the middle of theories, speculation, supposed leaks, all kinds of stuff. Since we got you here on the show, here, Frazley, where do you think we go from here? And I know Nav and I have been having some conversation, and we've touched on Nav touched on something first that I think has a lot of merit to it, and I think that we've kind of come up with something. So we definitely have something here I want Nav to touch on. But Fraz, do you have a sense of where we all are going next? Not just one faction or the other, but where does this game go next?
So if you look at the BlizzCon virtual ticket items, one of them is a Wendigo Woolly transmog going to the Icy Hills.
Yes.
And from what I understand, there's been a lot of people that have been going over to Northrend. From a game popularity level, I could see bringing back people to love of Northrend, so it would be a really good thing on that standpoint. But yeah, I kind of see there's going to like where Sylvanas goes. I see either the Northrend or Shadowlands. But the fact that they talked about the icy winds in the Woolly Transmog makes me either think that either 8.3 will be a Northrend thing, or we'll hear something about that. I mean, the Danish orchestra just redid Invincible, so I mean, there's a lot of work being done right now about Wrath of the Lich King. It could have.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it just came out I think a couple days ago. It was either Wildheart or Icy Veins that brought it up.
Huh.
Okay.
So there's a lot of work going there, and plus I've got friends who said Wrath of the Lich King was like their favorite. It was the peak of time. So
I don't disagree.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
So do you think that we're going to get like full on Lich King 2 Electric Boogaloo, or do you think that that's just where this happens and there's like a Jol in the Rub or some other stuff going on?
I think it's a stepping point, because to go back to Northrend would be like Warlords of Draenor, and people are like, we already had enough of Draenor, why go back again?
Right.
But something there. I mean, the fact that Sylvanas lost the Forsaken, doesn't the Lich King still have the Scourge under their controls still?
Yes. That was the whole purpose of the helm being placed on Bolvar, was somebody had to keep control of the remaining Scourge, and he sacrificed himself essentially to be that jailer.
Well, wouldn't Sylvanas now want to take? I mean, it's been floated around with different people. It's not original with me. I'm just saying what I've heard of people say. Yep. But the fact that it was brought up in Legion, I think Northrend's been brought up here and there in BFA. I've just been hearing a lot of cold winds coming through.
Well, if you did you play through the Death Knight class hall in Legion?
Not yet.
That will give you a healthy dose of lore as to what the Lich King is up to these days, and it ain't good. he is definitely falling under the same kind of
madness.
Yeah, it's not good because you're asked to do some kind of heinous stuff, and you're like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like this doesn't feel like a good guy thing. It's awesome, and I'm totally happy we get to do it, but I don't think everybody's gonna be cool with this, especially the paladins who are very pissed. But yeah.
To quote I think it's a saying that you hear in a lot in the United States. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think the power of that helm, even with good intentions. I have to say I think Arthas had good intentions before they did what they did.
Right.
They did awful things, but I think this could be where Sylvanas either she wants to use that or there's good intentions, but something it revolves around the Lich King. But Navox, and this might only be I see a twilight in your eye. What's your theory?
Let's hear it, Nav.
All right, so one thing's for certain, the Warcraft lore keepers, storytellers definitely have so much content that intertwines that anybody's guess is as good as the next. Like literally, I've been down in a Warcraft lore rabbit hole these past couple of days, and every story, backstory, all of it seems to just circle back onto itself. So, to get to the heart of my idea, we're going to take a long route here, like always. Everybody knows we are a warrior type of people here on the show. Our 3 seats on this episode have some of the finest warriors Azeroth has known.
That's right.
Well, while I was enjoying the warrior leveling life on my 6th warrior alt, my badass Cole Tyran, who looks like a badass barbarian from Diablo. I named him Navatar. I should have named him Bull Navthos or something.
No, Navatar is the perfect name.
Yeah. The last rage bender.
There you go. So that's actually good, Frazley. Shit, you derailed me. So I'm leveling, and I looked at this character, and I noticed that the transmog doesn't quite look right. I prefer the red, blue, and beige set from Siege of Orgrimmar with 2 swords, and the 2 things that didn't quite look right are the swords. My menacing Cole Tyran needed a pair of 2-handed axes. I found a blue axe. I like out there an Ice Crown Citadel and Wrath. It's an exact replica of the axe Sarafang carries in the ICC cutscene with his son. It's called Ramlandi's Blade of Culling.
Oh yeah.
And the blue version is a 10-man heroic only. I ran through on all my tunes that could equip the 2-handed axe, no dice. I still have to farm for it again next week.
You know what the background is on that name?
I was just going to ask you, do you want some interesting, useless knowledge regarding that?
Yes.
Go for it. I know what it is, but go for it.
All right. So, Ramlandi's Blade of Culling. Ramlandi was a warrior of the Brotherhood of Light and a pupil of High Lord Mograine before the Argent Dawn even existed. When news of Mograine's death reached him, hatred and anger took over. Ramlandi entered Nax Ramus to exact vengeance and never returned. Now, hold on. I'm going to get to this. Now, so Corfax sent adventurers inside Nax Ramus to learn about Ramlandi's fate. The only evidence they found was his destroyed ring. So the axe he used got into the hands of Deathbringer Sarafang. Now, Ramlandi is an anagram of Indlamar. A warrior.
Yeah.
Indlamar. That's right. A warrior player active on the forums during World of Warcraft beta. He was eventually hired by the dev team. So I was like, that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's the backstory of that. I had no idea that was just an anagram of Indlamar. There we go.
He actually just left Blizzard like within the last year.
Oh wow.
He's been there for a long time.
Wow.
Anyway, please continue. Your theory, sir.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. No. Like I said, we're taking a long walk here. So I found another axe I wanted, and I wanted it out of the Dragon Soul raid. And I found out that you have to run LFR because the axe I wanted drops off your Sage, the Unsleeping. It's a blue 2-handed axe called the Experimental Specimen Slicer. It has an awesome blue glow to it, and it pairs awesome with the ICC axe because I wanted to have like that Diablo look of 2 different looking 2-handed axes, 2 blue axes. So all of my theory here started stemming from me wanting to just transmog 2 fucking axes at this point.
Transmog is the death of us all.
Which, by the way, I found out something awesome. If you want to do LFR, I didn't know, and if you don't know that, here's some trivia for you. If you're like, man, I'd love to go run some old LFR, but it's just me. They put NPCs outside the instances of these old dungeons that you can solo. You can solo queue an LFR to go collect the color transmog.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I got a new Warriors tier set out of Dragon Soul I wasn't even planning on, which is awesome. So, anyway, I was going through Dragon Soul. I noticed a lot of parallels between what happened during Cataclysm and what's occurring now. And we are actually dealing with a Cataclysm of Azeroth that hasn't been, I don't know if they're not referring to it as a cataclysm, but got a gigantic sword stuck in Azeroth. Azeroth is dying. It's a cataclysm of Azeroth.
It's a big fucking problem.
So then I was thinking a little bit more. So this is where it came into play. There's a fight called, you fight Ultraxion, and it's actually, what happens is, during the fight, Ultraxion basically, at that point, Deathwing created Ultraxion. Ultraxion has the power to end all life as we know it. That's it, and they call it the Hour of Twilight.
Yep.
And we defeat Ultraxion at that point. But what we're seeing here is we may already be in the second hour of Twilight, brought on by the Black Empire, and this thing around our neck. What if it's actually the Dragon's Soul, and we are empowering it once again? I don't know. But, I was looking at Sylvanas has this purple power in Legion in some of the cinematics. I don't know if it's just by default. I didn't know if she's always had this purple power. I just noticed that, it's this purple, misty purplish glow to her. And, it's the same type of stuff that you see the Twilight Dragonflight have, that they're all, it's all the purple, and I don't know. That's I could totally go right down the lore stuff that I found. Like, we could talk about it, like, if you want to. Like, I wrote
we could go down it for quite a while, but that we may have to save that for as we get a little bit closer.
Because
we could go down these rabbit holes forever.
And that's the thing. That's what I noticed. Like, everything seems to be intertwining. Like, after after arriving on Azeroth, Cho'Gall and the Twilight Hammer heard whispers of the old gods and orcs and ogre visions of terrible glory of the Black Empire, N'Zoth, which the Twilight Hammer could help rebuild as a way of heralding in the Hour of Twilight. We're seeing it again. During Cataclysm, N'Zoth intended to use Deathwing to restore the Black Empire and shroud the world in shadow. Odin refers to the Black Empire as the Era of Shadow. And in Skyhold, there's this stone monument called the Tales of Odin, and one of the lost legends was called the Wanderer and the Serpent. And he goes into this, there's a whole story behind the Black Empire, and so this has been the whole Era of Shadow, the whole Black Empire thing. I'm almost, I know that they leaked I know that there was a supposed leak of Shadowlands, blah, blah, blah. I think that was just smoke and mirrors. I don't think our next expansion is going to be.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's going to be Shadowlands.
I don't know if it's going to be Shadowlands, but I think there's some truth to it. Something there.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think there's some truth to some of the things there. But I do kind of think that I think the next expansion is going to be something that has to do with the Twilight. It's either like the Hour of Twilight, Twilight's End, Fall of the Black Empire, Twilight's Revenge, Revenge of the Jedi, things like, I don't know, but it's So I'm going down a different road of. I see a lot of theories out there, and people are like, "Oh, it's death magic. It's death. This is all death stuff." And I'm like, I don't think it's death. I think it's stuff that we've seen before. I think this is just I think Sylvanas is just empowered with some. Shadow, heavily involved with the Shadow and Shadow World and Shadow Deal and N'Zoth and all that kind of stuff, that it's
the Void.
Yeah,
the Void,
exactly. And all of those folks. Yeah.
And I mean, the Alliance was hit with the Void. Like, we have the Void Elves, and something I've always felt off with the Void Elves. Like,
well, they're not going to go away,
weird.
so we're going to have to learn to deal with it. I mean, they're going to leave them. But as you and I were talking about this, the point that really started getting me going, because we were texting about this over Discord, and you were telling me about the Twilight, and we're talking about Twilight, and, there seems to be this sort of old god influence. Obviously, there's still old god stuff out there playing a lot into it. In the Chronicles, they've laid out this whole concept of the Void a little bit clearer, so you understand there's Void Lords, not just old gods, but there's like big bad Void Lords. There's a whole bunch of stuff we have not even seen yet, and they're even worse, right? Because there always has to be something worse, something bigger, something worse. But back here, you and I started talking about not just the Twilight, but as you mentioned, the Ogmot's Journal, which is a drop from a quest mob down there in Silithus, and you get this journal, and there's just kind of, Ogmot sees, something and has these dreams, and, Dark Lady, we covered this in a previous episode, but he has all of these kind of, ooh, spooky visions. What does this mean? And a couple of things that have always stuck out to me is, one, who is the Dark Lady leading the sheep? Is it Sylvanas? Is it Ajara? Is it possibly our Night Elf folks? Could be anyone in there. Something about the Boy King or somebody that effect telling 3 lies. What are those 3 lies? Something about Magni perhaps being manipulated. And it was the thing about Magni being manipulated that really got to me when you and I were talking, and I'm thinking, and this is not my original idea, but I'm just kind of consolidating it here. What was the demon soul, the dragon soul? It was a consolidation of the dragonflight's power. Well, what the hell are we doing with the Heart of Azeroth right now? We are consolidating the dragonflight's power because Magni thinks it's a good idea. He's the one leading us down this road. And so what are we ending up doing? We're building the same damn weapon over again.
Yep. And after we empower, after you get to a certain point, you start getting these quests, and the quests are handed out by the Dragonflight.
Yeah.
Every single time you get a quest, it's something with the Dragonflight.
And so for me, I look at all of that, one, as, there probably, that does seem like there probably is some manipulation going on there that is dangerous, and we're getting duped, and they're going to use that thing to do something bad, or it's going to become something that we chase in a later thing, because nothing would piss off people more than to keep the Heart of Azeroth around even longer than we've already had it, because it's been so popular. But what I think that says to me, especially with the introduction of Rathian back into the spotlight, is that I think the Dragonflights are coming back. I think that is more of a focus of what's going to happen. And what I'm kind of looking at is, maybe there is an Old God piece. Maybe there is a Dragonflight piece. Maybe there is a Shadowlands piece. Maybe these are just smaller pieces of the larger build. Because, I mean, if you think of every expansion, right, there's this kind of section over here that's important, and then there's this one over here. And if you only took one of those and said, this is the expansion, you'd be kind of right and kind of wrong. And it's all based on the clues that we have. But the fact that they're going back and we are building essentially a new Dragon Soul, that's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. And I don't care what the cause for it is. So for me, looking down the road, I think there's some validity in the Shadowlands stuff. I don't know how big it's going to be. I don't know if that's 8.3 or what. But as you touched on, with a decimated army, with forces aligning against us that we don't quite know about, it is entirely possible that we could follow it down a thread where we go out, something happens, and we're in a situation of stasis, or we're gone, or something happens. We come back later, and now there's a global problem that everybody has to deal with, like the whole world's been taken over by the Black Empire.
I think you're onto something there too, because because what you just said with the Shadowlands aspect, it could just be part of the bigger picture there. Because again, like when I went down and was starting to look at this whole thing with the Era of Shadow, Odin had his eye removed so he could actually see into the Shadowlands. So everything keeps turning. Like, the only reason I keep mentioning Odin is because Sylvanas made a deal with Hela, and I have this is going to be a culmination of everything that's brought us to this point, and it's all come to a head. And this next, we still don't know what the deal is that they made. Sylvanas and Helia made a deal. Was it to get souls? I don't know. Right, and what I think we're going to see coming out of BlizzCon is probably the biggest expansion we've ever had for World of Warcraft. I think it's going to be the largest expansion. Like for right now, this was a pretty good expansion. It was pretty large. I felt like Legion was a little bit larger with its content than Battle for Azeroth, but we have a lot of stuff, and it's really hard to compare the two after spending so much time in a zone. You don't really give. The other expansions are like an afterthought. I still think of Wrath as one of the largest expansions we have.
They didn't even have class halls.
It probably is, and the class halls and things like that.
Fucking huge.
But yeah, I mean, I'm really, really excited to see what's in store for us within the next 25 days now. At this point,
yes,
time we go live with this recording.
One thing out of left field, because I'm listening to what you're talking about, like the power with Magni, and at one point when you get the heart, there's that thing comes out of the void. Well, I had a kind of so I was doing LFR. I'm trying to get that Wrathion quest, and the prerequisite is Zaquil and Azara, and of course LFR wipes on Zaquil, and the group dies. I was looking at the title under Zaquil, and one thing that maybe I'm being way too literal, and I could be. Harbinger of Nyalotha.
Yeah.
Am I right? Nyalotha is from the Shadowlands and the Void?
That's supposed to be there, or some gateway thereof. Yeah, something like that.
Well, Nav, when you said that we do something to destroy everything, what if in a way we destroy all of Azeroth and all of time, then we actually die as characters? We go to the Shadowlands and come back, and we fight our way back out of the Shadowlands to a new engine and a new Azeroth. It's a crazy left, but I just
there might be something to that.
I'm not going to say it's plausible. I mean, it's something you can do. I mean, it's definitely something. I have a feeling that the Shadowlands, the thing that was leaked on 4chan for the Shadowlands, it had a lot of cool game ideas in the background of it. I have a feeling it's going to be part of maybe the lands that we're dealing with, similar to how. What was it called in Legion? It was the
Broken Isles.
We went not the Broken Isles, but the space part of the
Argus.
Remember Argus? Yes, thank you. It'll be kind of like an Argus thing. It'll be sitting off to the side. It's possible, Fraz. It absolutely is possible. There's no telling, because, and also we did die with the Pantheon. If you recall, when we were fighting Agrimar, we all, not Agrimar, or was it Taurus?
Yeah, Taurus.
Yeah, so when we all die there. He does that one thing, and we all die.
We've done that a couple times. Like,
yeah, we keep
Lich
coming
King
back,
did that to our asses.
We can't even bring back. We can't. Yeah, we apparently our reses don't work on heroes. So don't become a hero. Just stay a champion. So
yes.
don't become. Yeah. So
I have dived 1,205 times on Frazley. So.
Oh wow.
No one needs to keep count of that. You're all you're just in a transitory state. That's it. That's all.
Yeah.
So with all of this being said, we do have one more patch, at least that we know of, coming through. Patch 8.3, still greatly shrouded in mystery. We have no idea what it is even still. And I'm not going to go into the technical aspects of this because, frankly, I don't know what they are and I don't understand them. But people do know that there is an 8.3 coming, that it's still encrypted. Nobody knows what's on it. Without necessarily theorizing what it is, Fraz, do you think that we're going to know what is on it before or at BlizzCon?
With it being the second week of October now, I think we're going to know at BlizzCon. I almost see a boom, PTR will launch the day after BlizzCon's over, or at least the Monday or Tuesday, because I still think that we're not going to get any news until BlizzCon, because the developers, they're already rushed at Blizz to try to get things with the layoffs we had. They are scrounging around for everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that they're going to waste enough people. Waste is the wrong word, but they're not going to.
They only have so many resources.
Yeah. And I think it'd be kind of cool to make 8.3 tie in to the expansion. Say, here's the story up to it, and then say, okay, 8.3 is going to drop, then you're going to get your pre-patch, then the expansion.
How about you, Nev?
I have a feeling they're going to announce it at BlizzCon, and the big announcement once, you'll be watching the virtual ticket, they'll do their announcement, and somebody will say, and it's playable right now on the PTR. I have a feeling that they will go live that day of BlizzCon because they have a track record for surprising everybody, and this one's supposed to be one of the biggest Warcraft announcements. We keep getting teased with this is going to be a really awesome year for Warcraft. I have a feeling it's going to be right away. I think we'll be able to play that content on the PTR right away and see what's going on. Maybe not some of the cinematics, but we'll get to see what's in store for us.
Well, you and I have been saying this for at least a year now, at least since the last one, which is that they have to have a huge year this year. Like, they can't afford to screw up the opportunity they have this year to bring everybody to the table. Because yes, the whole doesn't everybody have a phone thing, like that's going to live on forever in infamy, even though it was a poorly played joke. I think the guy's been savaged probably a little more than was necessary over what happened, but this is an opportunity for them to come out guns a-blazing and to do it. And Fraz, I'm with you, man. I think that the 1-2 combo of here's 8.3, which launches into boom, here's that cinematic for the new expansion. Oh my God, people would melt. Like their faces would just like full on Raiders of the Lost Ark style, just into a puddle, because it would just be it's the biggest thing that they can do, is to save all of that, unleash it at once, and to say, all right, you already know you're gonna, because sometimes they have to tip the cap, right, and say, we know you're gonna get past this part of the game, and then there's gonna be something afterwards. So let's just all talk about it at once, and boom, and lead us down that path. And I don't know, maybe bring back Chris Benson to do it, just because. Why the hell not? He's still technically around.
Yeah, he's still doing all the voices. I mean, I hear his voice in everything now. I go back and do all the cinematic stuff. You can hear his voice in all these sorts of different characters you didn't realize.
Exactly. So yeah, Fraz, I think you're right, Nav. I think you're right. They're just going to hold it and keep us guessing. And frankly, y'all know me. I like it that way. I like to be surprised. I want to be like, oh shit, caught up in the moment of like, oh my God, what's going on? So to that end, just talked about BlizzCon, talked about the stream, the virtual stream, the virtual ticket, the BlizzCon virtual ticket has now been announced. It is available for purchase for $49.99 American dollars, or US dollars. I don't know what USD, right? Isn't that the US dollars? Right. I don't know what it is in Canada, so y'all probably have to pay $70-$80. Sorry. $50. What does that get you? Well, typically gets you a bunch of streams, gets you all the panels for everything that's going on, and we don't have a schedule yet. We don't know exactly what's going to be talked about. Probably a good reason for that being is that as soon as we see the schedule, we'll have some idea of what the big announcements are, because there's either a big block for a game you haven't heard about in a while, there's a big block for a game that you have heard about, or there's a space missing because they're going to load it up later. That's kind of the rigmarole that usually goes on with this stuff. But I think we're looking at, big announcements for World of Warcraft. We're looking at big announcements for Diablo 4. I swear to God, if Diablo 4 doesn't happen, this place is going to burn down. You might be getting Overwatch 2 or an expansion or something. You're probably going to get some Hearthstone thing, because there's a Hearthstone thing coming out every 2 weeks. It's going to be big. And they'll have panels covering all this stuff. There'll be voice actor panels. There'll be, Darkmoon Faire panels. There'll be, panels about every one of these kinds of games. And so that's what you get. That's kind of like the major thing. That's what you're actually buying, is access to those things. As an aside, as a bonus, you get a bunch of other crap. Bunch of in-game crap. Nav, what's your favorite piece of in-game loot this year for buying the virtual tickets?
All right, I gotta tell you, I don't like Murlocs at all, but I love this Finduin. I do. I absolutely love this little Finduin. It's great, and I have him summoned, and he follows me around, and I've had him summoned ever since. And when I'm not working on my bee stuff, I've got this little Finduin out now, so it's my favorite.
That's right. How about yourself, Frazley? What piques your interest of what they've announced so far?
Mine has to be the Wendigo Woolly. So I have that, and if you don't have the gift of our glorious Master N'Zoth, then you see that I've got a hood. And if you see N'Zoth, then you see the eye. But I love this woolly, because in Final Fantasy XIV, I wore the Moogle head, the Moogle hands, and also the Eternal Bonding satin thing. Yeah, I got married to somebody in Final Fantasy XIV for the transmog.
Wow. You are dedicated.
Yep.
Yeah, so what both of these fine gentlemen are talking about is that for World of Warcraft, the 3 items that they've announced so far, 2 are pets and 1 is a transmog item. The first is, as Nav mentioned, and it is also my favorite, is a Murloc in the likeness of Anduin Wrynn. It's called Finduin. It's got a little Charlemagne and a little pet dog, which I guess could be a reference to his Worgen friend. Which, if that's the case, then that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
On the other side, representing the Horde, you do have Gilvanas, who is supposed to be sort of a Sylvanas kind of representation. And this woolly is this sort of it's like I don't know, it's like a pajama onesie that looks like a Wendigo.
Yeah.
A Wendigo.
Yeah.
If I may
Wendigo.
pronounce it. But it's the thing that, it's when you go up to what is that, Alterac, and you got to do the wintertime quest. You see these things walking around, so it makes you look like that. So have those for Overwatch. I'm not a big Overwatch player, but I think these are pretty cool. There is a Genji skin that looks like Illidan, and there is a Symmetra skin which looks like Tyrande, and they both look really awesome. Like, I have to say, they did a phenomenal job with those. For Heroes of the Storm, you get a Sparkle Crab mount and some other sprays and stuff, so congratulations to them. For StarCraft, there's a couple of skins and some portraits. There's some other stuff that they have kind of half-announced, including wings for Diablo players and some unnamed things to stay tuned for, but there was one item that I wanted to touch on because I think it kind of ties in with what we talked about earlier, the Hearthstone card back that they're giving away. So they announced there's going to be a golden hero sometime to be announced later. But there is a card back, and if you look at it, it looks like a couple of shadowy dragon wings.
Mm-hmm.
Which to me reinforces, now I know that they don't always cross over 1-to-1, but to me that really reinforces the whole thing that Nav and I have talked about, which is this sort of Twilight, Old God, Black Empire, Dragonflight thing. Could just be a cool design, but they typically try to tie these things in together, so I don't know. I think that might be a little bit of a tell. What do you think, Nav?
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I was looking at a lot of this stuff, and I was trying to think like what kind of ties into the game right now, and yeah, it's interesting. I'm more interested in the more to come, because I want to.
You're just mad there's no mount.
That means there's something that, well, it may not be in Warcraft, but I'm just saying that they're going to announce something,
yeah,
and then they're going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, here with the virtual ticket, you're going to get this too. And they don't want to announce it because it'll give away what they're going to announce.
Ooh, what if they announce alpha or beta access to the expansion the same way that they announced classic demo?
That'd be huge. That'd just be another log on the gigantic fire that could be the awesome BlizzCon that we want. Yeah, it is curious that they are saying stay tuned for more details on this year's Legendary Hall. Well, yeah, at the very least, you got to give away a mount or beta access or alpha access or something. I mean, there's something in there. There's something in there. So we're going to have to wait to see. But a couple of things that I noticed, which I thought were interesting. One is that they announced that there will be more panels available for free on the main stage. They didn't necessarily give details on how many or what they are or whatever, but they did say that there will be some more content available to folks without having to purchase the virtual stream. So I thought that was kind of a nice give to the community, that you don't have to do this thing and pay this money to necessarily see everything. The other being is that they've always closed off what they have is this gear sale, where there's a lot of exclusive stuff that they sell at BlizzCon, go figure. And what they will do is typically they will open up access to part of that, if not all of that, to people who are ticket holders or virtual ticket holders, and allow you to purchase this stuff online a couple days before, something like that. and I believe, and I had a hard time finding my site for this or my source for this before we came on here, but I believe they said they're going to open that up to everyone this year, not just the virtual or physical ticket holders, which I think is a great idea because, again, you're building revenue as a company. I mean, you're selling gear, so why hold on to it? With the exception being that stuff does sell out quick, and with a bigger group, you're going to have to really be on it because they always have really cool stuff, and people are going to be jamming on getting on those sites, so you're going to have to keep your eyes open.
I'm going to be buying the real-life Wendigo Woolly when it goes on sale in the gear store. I'm calling it.
Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised in the least. So, Nav, I know you and I, in the past, did give up your virtual ticket as part of a contest. But we're not going to be doing that this year. We're not going to be doing that this year. You're actually going to be watching your virtual stream, right?
Yes, I am. So I'm excited.
So what's your plan? Are you staying at home? Are you going somewhere? Or are you just chilling?
I'm just going to chill that day. Because BlizzCon's on a Friday. The opening ceremony is on a Friday. Yep. I e-work that day, so I'll probably be e-working and watching the stream the whole time. So yeah.
How about you, Fraz?
I at this point definitely going to be watching it. At least the work of what's next in the opening ceremony. Haven't heard, like in the past. I've been helping talk about it with another group. I've not heard of this year, so I don't know that. And then after that, just freaking out because you should have heard me freak out with the mechanomes. I kept just on a thing. You should have heard me in chat. I think they literally had to mute me in Discord.
I believe it.
How excited I was.
I believe it. Yeah.
So I won't be streaming it on Twitch because you're not really allowed to stream, and I get it, to stream the virtual ticket stuff. Yeah. So I'm not going to be doing that. But you'll hear my reactions when we get Rise and Overgone.
Right on. As for myself, same thing as I do when I'm not able to go down to the convention. Me and my buddy come over here to Compound Berzerker and just feast for days on end. I think this year I'm going to be cooking up some pork shoulders and some tomahawk steaks, and it's going to be just endless gluttony because that's what we do. It's a tradition that I really love, and in some ways I like it more than actually going to the convention because it's just a good time to catch up, just act stupid, which I'm all about acting stupid. So because we don't have a virtual ticket to give away that's one of our own, we have to give away Blizzard's virtual tickets. And although we don't have anything official to announce at the moment, just want to throw out there that if you are not following Unshackled_Fury on Twitter, that you probably should do so, and do so soon, because there is a higher than likely chance that this show may be running not one, but two virtual ticket contests in the next month, and we will be giving away, potentially, multiple tickets, not just one. So if you have not done so already, please follow our show and keep an eye out. Because in the next week or two, would be my guess, you're going to see some contests rolling through. And I highly suggest that you be ready when they do, because I know we will be ready when those come out. I don't think I have anything more important to say than that. Follow the channel, be ready, because it's coming. On top of that, all the BlizzCon action we have going on. We have all the panels and the streams and this and that, and we're going to be enjoying it and screwing around, and I'm sure we'll post stuff on Twitter. But for the first time, this is the first time ever, this podcast will be going live on Twitch on our own stream to talk about all things BlizzCon Friday night, November the 1st.
Nice.
So we do have a channel. You want to follow us on Unshackled Fury? It's all one word, Unshackled Fury. I managed to uppercase U and an F, so it's two words and not just one garbled thing. But if you go out on Twitch, you can follow us. Unshackled Fury is our channel. We will be doing a live stream immediately following the end of activities on Friday the 1st, the first night of BlizzCon. And Nav is hard at work in the lab right now, coming up with all the goodies for that, because he is far more in the know on all things Twitch than I am. I just know it exists, but Nav is the man here. So he's putting all of that together. So go out to Twitch, find our channel, Unshackled Fury, give it a follow. And on Friday night, November 1st, we will be doing our first live stream. So come hang out with us. We're going to be giving our first impressions on everything that's going on, because I'm pretty sure it's going to be a lot. And we encourage you guys to come on, share your thoughts too, or hopefully we can get more than 2 or 3 people in the chat room. If it's only 2 or 3 people, that's cool. But we're going to do it. We're going to see how it goes. And yeah, we're excited and looking forward to that. And for the channel itself, you know, it's not going to be a usual thing. We're not switching over to becoming a live stream show. This is still a podcast. However, there will be times when we got to go out there and we got to give it straight to the people, live and in their faces. And this is going to be one of those times. So keep the channel bookmarked, friend us, follow us, whatever you got to do, because there will be times when we'll have some special editions and we'll jump out there and you'll see our live rosy-cheeked faces screaming into the wind about God knows what's going on. So as somebody who's a relative novice to doing these kinds of streams and things, do you have any advice for me, Frazley?
Definitely just experiment. If anything goes wrong, because it's Numinous Technology that runs Twitch streams, go at it. Have fun. If you edit for post, definitely make it so that whatever is said, people on download can hear what goes on. So like if you talk about something visual and you don't talk about it enough, cut it from the download. But yeah, I find it's a lot of fun, and sometimes you get engagement, and it is nice to get sometimes real-time follow-up as long as you repeat for the download what was said in the real-time follow-up. I think Navox, you and I have talked about it. I know Kevin and I from Darkmoon Herald have talked about live, and it's a craft. Have fun, and just know that there's an energy and a vibe to it. And I think once you start twitching, you might not be able to stop twitching. I know I can't stop twitching.
I know my eye is twitching. I'll have to see about the rest of me. You, Brother Nav, anything else to add on our impending inaugural first-time foray into the Unshackled Fury Twitch?
No, just like you mentioned at the top, make sure you're following the Twitter account and the Twitch account, and just keep your eye out there, because we'll be tweeting also like crazy. So make sure to follow both of us on Twitter, and yeah, it'll be fun. So, and if you guys have something that you want us to talk about on the show, or if you want us to talk about something live, if you have a question for us, you want to ask us live, show up, ask us live. It'll be fun. So, I think we might have some spicy drinks too. You never know.
Yeah, I will be so fucked up and full of food and God knows what else. It's not going to be pretty. I'm going to be sweaty, and I'm going to be sweaty, and my back is going to be hurting. I'm going to be I'm going to be in a bad way. So y'all are going to see a real great sight. But you know what? It's going to be live and in person, and we're going to see what's going on, and we'll go out there and we'll give it our best. We'll see what happens.
I like what I see right now, because I see both of you, and I see your pretty faces right now. So I think they're in for a treat.
Yeah. For some, I'll put a paper bag over my head like a Browns fan. Anyway, last thing we have on the agenda today, and this is just a brief thing. It's something kind of cool that, it pops up every once in a while, and you're like, gee, I never really thought about that. There was an article recently on Kotaku which talked about how Warcraft got its name, which I never really even thought about how Warcraft got its name. It seems so elementary and rudimentary to what we do. Is we know this thing Warcraft has been around forever, but how did the name itself actually come about? It's funny because when reading the article, and we all check this out, it's not really all that crazy. It's essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is way back when, in eons ago of Blizzarddom, they had contemplated doing kind of like a war series, which to me kind of sounded like the Total War series that exists now, but they were going to have Warcraft, so thinking more of like modern type warfare, or more of our real life warfare, and they were going to have eras or different times or something like that, and that's what they were going to do was like Warcraft Vietnam or Warcraft World War II or something like that. And then that didn't really happen, and it became what it is, and they used Warcraft, StarCraft, and those are the only craft ones that they use. But it was Samwise Didier who just happened to come up with the name, and they They picked it because they thought it sounded cool.
Yep.
Sometimes it's just the simplest things. You know, you don't have to overthink it.
And I mean, I know for me from branding stuff. I mean, Frazlecast, Frazley Report. I mean, dude, Frazley. I didn't really scrape the bottom of the barrel version stuff.
Yeah, it's it's like the songs that they write in 3 minutes that end up being the biggest hits in the world. You know, it's like it just came together. Huh?
Yeah.
Now, I'm a little sad, though, because they did mention Warcraft Vietnam, and it would have been like, Battlefield Vietnam was my favorite Battlefield, not for the gameplay. The gameplay sucked shit in Warcraft Vietnam, but I loved the cards. I loved, like, the cards you could, like, ride through, and you could hear the music and stuff like that. That's what I loved about that one.
Well, some dreams are dashed more significantly than others, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you haven't gotten a chance, go out to Kotaku, check it out. It's How Warcraft Got Its Name. It's pretty easy. You can Google it and find it, and check it out. It's a good little read and a little history on Blizz, and you never know. You just it feels good to have some rounded knowledge about this thing that we do. Well, I think that will do it for this episode, because God knows we have talked our fool heads off at this point. So I want to thank our guest, Frazley, for coming on the show finally this week, and it's so good to talk with you and to have you on. And before you go, where can the people check out all your gnomish nonsense, good sir?
So I've tried to make it pretty easy. It's Frazley.com for all my podcasts, Frazley, at Frazlytastic on Twitter. And then on Twitch, it's gnome.live.
And other than this fine program, where could the good people find you on the internet, Navox?
You can find me over on Twitter and Twitch. I am at NAV_OX.
As for me, you can always find me on Twitter at Berzerker Rage, and this show at Unshackled_Fury. Feel free to contact the show with your questions, comments, or otherwise at unshackledfuryshow@gmail.com. And you can find this show on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and Google Play. So once again, thank you for listening. Remember to keep your swords wet and your banners high, and we'll see you next time. Farewell.